Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner. It is Friday, it is the 19th of April, and today we'll start with Netflix that had earnings released last night. And what it meant was that in the aftermarket, the stock traded lower as indicated here by the dashed line. It's going to be interesting where it will open today and where it will trade pre-market, but just above a support area here around 575. So a dip of around 5% lower. And that, if it closes down below those levels, below 575, well then we are in a downtrend. It is gapping lower. There has been some warning signs for quite some time with the RSI showing divergence. You can see the values have been declining and market moved higher, but it was a little bit stressed apparently. So now we are in for a correction. In US, more selling yesterday, just above the testing the 5,000 level here, close just above it. We have a little bit of support around that level, but then 49.53. What is interesting is the market reaction overnight after Israel attacked Iran. We have the futures market here is the US 500 CFD/future that dipped lower towards the 49.19 support area, 49.20, and then has bounced since. But we are in a downtrend. But I think we could see maybe a little bit of further bounce in today and in coming days. But we are in a downtrend, and there's negative sentiment on the RSI. Here we have Nasdaq close below support 17,478, 17,128. There's some support and 16,900. So around 17,000, and we can see also here the Nasdaq future dipped lower, just above 17,000. Here we actually have the mini future contract, so that actually dipped below the cloud. In Europe also, EUROSTOXX dip lower this morning, has regained a little bit, but it's just above 48.88. Support testing that at the moment, a close below and RSI close below 40 could send EUROSTOXX 50 lower to around 4800, 4812, 4775. So we are in a downtrend, confirmed downtrend on all fronts, and will be further confirmed is if RSI is closing below 40 threshold. Same picture on DAX, really testing 17,620. Next one is 17,326. Basically, this gap area, the strongest one will then be 17,118. We are currently below. As you can see here, we are currently below 40 on the RSI, so that could spell further trouble for the German index if that plays out. That little dot here is actually today's trading. We are below 860 support on the AEX, so actually lower this morning, driven by ASML and a few other stocks, obviously. Also confirmed downtrend. If we do close below 806 and RSI below 40, which we are at the moment, well, 850 next and 837 if really sellers really pushes through. Excuse me. CAC 40 lowered is well. It actually past couple of days was actually stronger than the other markets. I haven't checked why, but now we are also a little bit lower. Key support 78, 75. That is the key support. It could be tested once again. We are in negative sentiment, so I believe we could dip lower. SMI, Switzerland, yeah, slowly but steady towards 11,000 and a change, 11,100. It's around this level here, around 11,060. I think we will be testing next fairly shortly, possibly early next week. Negative sentiment, the RSI is pointing to that. FX markets Lot of volatility, especially in yen pairs, but let's start with euro dollar as usual. We also had some volatility, actually starting selling off yesterday. Didn't really reaching the 38.2 retracement. It can still do that over the next couple of days, because this morning it bounced just above the 106 and the previous spike down here, or previous lows here, just around 106. And I think maybe we could see a little bit of a well, at least trying to get up to the 38.2 retracement, but let's see. The trend is definitely down, so it's fairly heavy. So it's debatable whether actually get there or not. More or less the same picture on cable that actually dipped below support at 124.10, almost all the way down to 123.75, which is also a support area, and it's at 200% of this correction here. We are negative sentiment. Could we get higher to the 38.2 retracement, 125.20? Let's see. If it takes out the peak from yesterday, yes, then definitely I feel confident. Dollar yen dipped. That was actually the most quiet of all the yen pairs. Dipped a little bit lower, but actually unchanged, and still uptrend and potential to around 155.30, possibly up to 156.30-35 level. Euro yen, massive volatility. You can see it dipping low in early session this morning, and just dipped below the lower rising trend line, only to recover. Really, it's hard to say what will happen here next. We definitely need a close above this peak here. Let's just draw a trend line, so we have, or a horizontal line. So we have 165.17-18 level. I want the RSI to close back above 60 before I go bullish on a euro yen. Until then, I would be in a wait and see mode. Aussie yen, massive spike down below the 98.20 support, and then really strong rebound. So there's still some underlying strength in the yen pairs in general, and I think we will push higher. But Aussie yen definitely one of the heaviest one, and could drift lower if it does move back below the 98.70 level. Well, then it could again test the 98.20. Other than that, I think we could also be stuck range bound between these levels and 100. So be careful with the Aussie yen, really volatile. We can also, when we get to Aussie dollar in a minute, then also we consider sterling yen also dipping lower, but didn't dip below the 190, and then we are back up here. Still RSI in a positive sentiment, but there's minor divergence, and I want to see it being back above a 60 threshold before I go bullish on sterling yen. Aussie dollar, as we talked about, also massive move here in on Aussie dollar that dipped below the 64, but now back above. So there's still a potential correction up to the 38.2 retracement, which is now at 64.70. Before I think we could resume downtrend. We are in a negative sentiment, but a bit of a correction would be needed. Dollar Canada sliding slowly low. I think we could dip down to, or slide down to around 137, which is a 38.2 retracement. I'm not quite sure we will get much more than that, but there is always a risk down to the 61.8, and 61.8 and 7.86 retracements are usually the more important ones in the FX market, and also in the spot gold market. Still a positive sentiment, no divergence, indicating we are likely to see higher levels in dollar Canada in coming weeks. Massive move in EURSWISS this morning, spiking below the 96.22 support area, below the 38.2, almost down to the 200 moving average. And now we are back up again. I think we will close above, and then we will slowly start turning around in going into next week, and then slowly resuming uptrend on EURSWISS. Dollar Swiss dipped below almost to the 38.2 retracement and the 90 support level. Still a little under pressure, as you can see here with the RSI, but I think in coming weeks it will slowly start moving higher towards 92.45. But look out for the 90 level. Finally, on the dollar index, just hovering around the 106 level without any real direction. I want to see it taking out the previous peak here at 106.33 for upside potential. Other than that, there could be a correction down to at least 105.30, maybe 104.67. Let's move on to gold that spiked higher in early session but then collapsed, and it seems like we are maybe short-term in exhaustion mode. I mean, we do have higher highs closing, but we didn't get a higher move up above 24, 31, 32, and that's what I want to see before I go full-blown bullish on it again. We are in a correction phase, but the correction phases can also sometimes be sideways, and here we actually have a fairly large range bound 23, 24, around 23, 19 key support here that should be observed. For now, we are still, underlying a little bit bullish, but sentiment is really struggling to support that for at least short term. Also, silver spiked higher in early session, but didn't take out the 29.03 that is needed for push higher. So also a potential correction there. But key support at 27.60. Observe that is the one to be broken before a correction. So maybe not. I'm a little bit unsure at the moment, to be honest. So be careful, and you can be stopped out with all the volatility going on at the moment. Platinum seems to have corrected, at least here short-term 61.8. Yesterday tested it very close today. If it dips below, well, then we are looking at 915, which is 786 retracement. But I think we will slowly start moving around, and it will be dragged higher, possibly with gold and silver, if they can move higher in coming days. Copper, on the other hand, is really strong at the moment, testing resistance at 447. Still have potential up to 457 and also higher. It's not the strongest resistance. The 447 is fairly strong, so we could see a little bit of correction before moving higher. Oil market moved higher in early session this morning, but only to collapse again. So now we are just above the 82.56 support area, where we were also trading yesterday around that level. It is not the strongest one, but nevertheless we are in if we're still in uptrend, but it is a corrective phase that actually could dip all the way down to around 80 on WTI. But I think I'm not quite sure we'll get there. RSI is still positive, not really any divergence, so we should see WTI trading higher in coming weeks. Same picture on Brent crude oil, trading around this 87 level, above the rising trend line, above key support 84.75. It's not unlikely we dip down to that, but I don't think we will bounce higher. So underlying sentiment and trend is still up on oil markets. Finally, we have the US 10-year Treasury dipped down to just touch the 450 level. We are in an uptrend. Could maybe some traders out there will try to test this support here again, but we are in an uptrend on US yields. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice weekend. Happy trading today.